Welcome to the Smith and Rowland Show. Let's join our host, Alan Smith and Jeff Rowland.
Good Thursday, Mr. Smith.
Yes, it is, Mr. Rowland.
It's the day after Wednesday.
It is. It really is. Well, not necessarily.
Really?
Could be the day before Friday.
It depends on your perspective as to whether or not the cup's half empty or half full.
It's because you're always running a day behind. I'm a day ahead.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably accurate.
Now, what are you going, Mr.
Because
Rowland?
in your day ahead, I'm having to go back to your yesterday and fix it.
That's probably true.
How you doing today?
Doing good, Mr. Rowland.
I was thinking about our podcast from yesterday.
And what did you think while you were thinking?
I was thinking what a brilliant job I did. I mean, really, if you go back and watch it. Yeah.
I'll eat a cracker on that one.
We was talking about the spirit of offense from Matthew 24 and what that meant in terms of a lot of the news of what we're seeing coming out against Trump and his Department of Justice about the Epstein stuff.
No
Drawing some parallels between that and the church, because there's always parallels.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of things from this passage that I'd like for us to kind of highlight and talk about a little bit. Matthew 24:10. We are living in this time, I think, at least the spirit of it.
No doubt.
It says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Mm-hmm.
Betrayal and hatred of one another are not Christian attributes.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit of offense, you could take this verse of Scripture and say this is talking about the tares among the wheat, kind of people that's inside of the Christian profession, but have absolutely no real commitment or attachment to the Lord Jesus or to the Christian faith. You could say that. And it makes me wonder in terms of these that are coming out and saying, you know what, they're involved in a cover-up. And here's the thing about that. There has been monumental evidence in the past of cover-ups. We know that has happened. At this point in this Epstein thing, there's no evidence of a cover-up. There's no evidence that there's no evidence. In other words, that's what they're saying. There's no client list, and for commentators to try to attack that, it would seem to me that you would need some evidence that there's at least evidence that this Department of Justice dealt with and now has done something with. I'm saying that doesn't exist at this point. Maybe somebody will prove that, as soon as Trump got in office, then they did away with all. I find that difficult to believe. If Trump was in that, just like you said earlier or before, if Trump had been involved and Joe Biden was the president when those files were there and found Trump's name in it, he would have definitely have told that. I feel positive he would have shared that. So they
wouldn't have had to have done the Russian collusion, as they call it.
No, or anything else. They wouldn't have. I mean, that would have been, kind of case closed if they could have plastered everywhere that Donald Trump was involved with Jeffrey Epstein, and there's evidence to prove that, all of that sort of thing. So I'm saying that with that in mind, it leaves you to believe that those that are coming out against this Department of Justice now were looking to be offended in some way so that it would justify their betrayal of this administration and possibly even their hatred for it. Could it be that the real cover-up is in those that's coming out against him, and they covered up how they really felt until they could find something that they could really pound on him with? Makes me wonder that. Also, inside of the Christian family, kind of the parallel verse in Luke's gospel of this talks about how that ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolks and friends. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death. we know that that is something that is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Already happened, so.
And it's happening now. That's my point. My point is, inside of the context of this passage, you have the statement that iniquity is going to abound and the love of many will wax cold. You have all of those things going on. Luke's gospel, that carries the similar discourse of Matthew 24, talks about this betrayal belonging to family. Mm-hmm. How that your family will betray you. Jesus came and said that he didn't come to bring peace, but to divide. Daughter from mother, mother-in-law from daughter-in-law. Mm-hmm. It was all about how that family would even betray you. Mm-hmm. And we're living in those times. Okay, if you attach this to the spirit of offense, and we go back to the political correct world mm-hmm. and the woke world that come out of political correctness, you apply the same things in the church, you see the same parallels. Mm-hmm. It's all the same is what I'm saying. It is the spirit of offense mm-hmm. that produces false prophets. Mm-hmm. And this false prophet narrative brings about mm-hmm. deception. And that seems to be the progression. So what Satan's strategy has to be to our nation politically, to the church spiritually, is to begin with offense in mm-hmm. order to get to deception. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't care what has to happen to families or relationships in the middle of that equation. He starts with offense, he ends with deception. Mm-hmm. I think that is the strategy that Satan is using against the church and our nation at this point. I think that's where we're at.
I would say you're very accurate. Not only that, to keep it into context, Jesus says at the beginning of this chapter, the context is they leave the temple, I think, and mm-hmm. then they were saying, what's the sign of your coming? And then he goes into this discourse of all of these things that are going to happen. Yeah. And when you get to this terminology of offense, it's in verse 10, I think. Mm-hmm. Many shall be offended. It's the offense looks like to me the offense should have shown up a little quicker. But there again, I'm not trying to correct the word of God, but I'm just saying it's on down in the list of where mm-hmm. of the offense is. And offense is what happens to me. If I'm offended, offense happens to me. Our response of offense is betrayal. Yeah. According to the Word of God here.
Yes.
So betrayal is the worst. That's worse than offense.
Yes, that's the evil side of the sin.
That's the evil side of the sin.
That's right.
And so the betrayal that's happening, and there again, a lot of people don't like Trump, but Trump's kind of got this thing about him. He doesn't like for you to betray him. Loyalty to him is a big deal. Yeah. And so I kind of get that because you can sit around a table and have a discussion on being offended or betrayal, just around the table, just a little to get you through the day. You know what I'm saying? and you can sit around and talk about it, all day long. And but when you have the act of betrayal, offense tends to come out of conversation. The act of betrayal means you're cutting tail and running, as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. And as you and I have been in many, many spiritual battles and natural battles of this earth together, in church situations, personal with people, and yada, yada, yada. Sometimes we have felt like we need to start our own wrestling MMA or whatever of the church, you know what I'm saying? And because we've been in many, but the betrayal part, and you and I have experienced that with each other one time, mm-hmm. and we've discussed it, and it ain't nobody else's business.
That's right.
But we got through it just fine.
Absolutely.
It's a wonder. It's a wonder in God's heaven. We ran into we had so many times, and we finally started catching on. We've had so many times that the enemy its goal was to split us up so that we would betray each other.
That's right.
And at this particular time, I'll tell this much about it. I left. I went out to my car with my wife, and I said, "Okay, me and Jeff, it's done. I'm over. I ain't doing this no more." This was, 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago. And my wife doesn't say much, and she looked up at me and she said, "You shouldn't have done that." She said, "No, I've had it now. You and all this sort." She said, "You shouldn't have done that." She said, "You made a bad mistake." And she was right. I did. And Jeff and I, we don't even apologize to each other anymore. Just, it's too redundant.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, yeah. But anyway, my point is, we have it's not that our relationship's not been tested. It has. Mm-hmm. And in this kingdom age that we're in this age that we're in, following up the end of this dispensational age, I think of the grace of God in the church, and right before the rapture of the church, I think this betrayal thing leading into this age of the second coming of Christ. Of course, he's speaking also of the tribulation period, what's going to be happening,
right? Exactly,
and all of that type stuff. But it would be of normal biblical interpretation to understand it's already started.
Yes.
Even in this day of grace.
Absolutely.
And so betrayal has always been kind of a big issue because that's what put Jesus on the cross. So that's no small thing.
That's right.
It's betrayal is a big thing. And you kind of have to make up your mind when you walk with people on the earth, okay? There's a heavenly mindset, and then there's an earthly reality. And to me, in the earthly reality, if you're going to walk together, if it's husband and wife, if it's friendships in the body of Christ, whatever, you don't even have to be a Christian. If you're going to walk together and who you're walking with messes up, the question is, are you going to stand and fight with them even in their mess up?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
And that's the
issue.
That's the issue. And I think that Jesus is the one that gives us that example, Jeff, because Jesus could have betrayed. He was our only hope for salvation.
That's right.
He was our only hope of being right with God.
Yeah.
And Jesus could have come down off that tree. Yeah. Jesus could have betrayed his mission.
Yeah.
That's the right word, mission. But he didn't.
Yeah.
And even though others did, he had to experience betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
But he did not allow himself in that moment to be offended at the offense of humanity.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying is our basis that it's like me and you're walking together and you do something stupid, then, we've said it to each other many times, if we do something stupid, I'm there.
Yeah.
Just don't take us down too far.
Yeah, right. That's
in the process. Don't take us down too far.
And just to, so that all of the listeners understand this, I took us down too far. But, so I'll own that part. But I was having a conversation with a guy today. We've talked about this in times past. There's been seasons. There's always seasons where the seasons change.
Right.
I honestly believe this. About 3 weeks ago, at least in this area, about 3 weeks ago, we entered into a new season of warfare. And trying to discover, okay, what's going on? What's happening? Because maybe I'm getting old, but the older I get, it's like when the seasons change, you look around and all of a sudden everybody that you know are doing stupid stuff that you think, where'd that come from? So it's a spiritual phenomenon.
Well, an example, don't you think, is also Elon and Trump?
Yeah, I mean, where'd that come from? All of a sudden, just boom,
here we go.
And then there's this deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, so being offended.
My wife needs to call Elon and Trump and say,
yeah,
y'all shouldn't do
that. That's right.
But go ahead.
But being offended has the connotation that you have been wronged. Something has happened to you and you have been wronged. That's the connotation most people put to being offended.
Mm-hmm.
But as we discussed yesterday, the Greek word for offended in this text is where we get our word to scandalize from. Okay, so there is yet another perspective of this. So you can be offended by the scandal that you hear. Mm-hmm. But you can also be an offended, grieved party by spreading a scandal. And the reason I say it that way is because...
You're talking about a scandal spreader.
A scandal.
Kind of like a manure spreader.
There you go.
Okay.
It's almost like people, okay, they have this idea, I really need to betray this person. In order to do that, I have to be offended.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, totally.
So we've entered into a season where people are looking to be offended so they can go ahead and do what is in them to do, even though they may not know realize that that's the end game yet. You and I both have been taught a lot by Jack Hyles. Yeah.
And he preached a message which we both received and added to our lives, and we've taught on it since. Mm-hmm. And that is sin and evil.
Yeah.
And do you think it could, we said you can have sin, but not all sin's evil, but all evil's sin.
Right.
And do you think that betrayal is the evil side of offense?
Yes, I do. I absolutely.
In other words, offense then is probably the sin.
Is the sin, right?
And then when offense goes evil,
it's betrayal.
It's betrayal.
I think that gives rise to false narratives, to false prophecy.
Prophets, too.
Is what happens. Mm-hmm. And the whole purpose of false narratives and false prophets is deception.
It's deception.
That's what it's for.
Which is the opposite of truth.
Yeah. So, and it shows the progression. Offense ends ultimately in deception, which is far worse. So you betray one in order to deceive many.
Many, yeah.
And
deception goes into the plural, to the many.
Yes, it really does. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're at. I think that's where we're at, even in the church.
Well, you've always said you like to do the parallel thing, and so we got Elon and Trump.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, that's just two men fussing. No, this is a bad signal, y'all. This is not good. Bad. And do I think Elon's born again and all that? Probably not. The truth is, I don't even know if Trump is. But nonetheless, do I think God called them both to those positions? I do.
Yes.
And they shouldn't be acting like this.
They should not be acting this way.
Because
they should not be acting this way.
They can get a lot more accomplished in unity than they can in division.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to get us off topic, but you sent me a little clip that I saw when I came into service. I went kind of into a place today. We got a customer that you don't get service. So when I came down out of the mountains, it dinged and I saw it and I clicked on it. And it was a prophecy from Kim Clement, about the American Party and that sort of thing that he prophesied
that was
about.
Interesting,
it was very interesting. And it was very interesting. Mm-hmm. This is a guy that died in 2012, and he had prophesied of Donald Trump serving 2 terms before he ever even was a thought that he would even run. Mm-hmm. And then Kim Clement died before he saw the fulfillment of that prophecy. But in another prophecy, he was talking about how that there would rise up not a Republican Party, not a Democrat Party, but an American Party.
That's right.
And this thing between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, the narratives around all this Epstein stuff, all of it's connected. It is connected.
How in the world? Just think about this thing. You got Elon and you got Donald Trump. These are probably 2 of the biggest world figures today.
Yeah.
And now they've fell out with each other.
Yeah. That
is so huge to me. That is so earth-shattering to me. Mm-hmm. That when this movement, call it the MAGA movement, whatever you want to call it, the movement of what's trying to clean up the swamp is the terminology, or to clean up, and then you had Doge and all of this sort of stuff was really clicking, right along. I hadn't heard a thing about Doge here lately.
No, me neither.
And so I think they're getting off the topic is what I'm saying. But this thing to me is so huge that I don't know if we'll survive it. And it's not just those 2 men, but it's what those 2 men represent.
It's what it represents. Those positions.
And we had 2 brothers today historically that didn't get along, and now we look at the world today, they're not getting along with the Jews and the Arabs. But nonetheless, it doesn't take but 2 people to shape.
That's all it takes.
If they're in the leadership roles.
Yeah. And the target is the many.
The target's the man.
You know, so if you take those parallels, could there be a prophetic warning
I think so.
going out across the land of the churches that says to the leadership bodies, be careful. We're walking in a season here where people are looking to be offended, and it could be one of you. You know, it could be one of the leaders that's looking to be offended in order to betray, which leads to false narratives, false prophecies that's going to deceive many. I'm saying that I do believe that there is some prophetic warnings going on here in the mix of all of this stuff.
I would have to totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think they're big warnings. I don't think they're small warnings.
I don't either.
I would say by the end of the year, if they don't get their act together with the Elons and Donald Trumps, and I mean, because you know as well as I do that they represent a lot of people. Elon, I'm sure, has some followers, so to speak, within the Trump administration even now, because Donald let him in a leadership position. And so that's just not, there's nothing about this. This is bothering me a lot.
It's bothering me a lot. And what
because
really,
so much has been accomplished.
Absolutely. And what really concerns me is this idea that it's very possible that we've entered into a time where people are actually looking to be offended. They want to be offended.
Well, it is now because they're setting the precedent.
Right. And the problem with that is it shows a deeper problem, that there is something in the heart wanting to betray another.
Wow. That's
why you're looking to be offended. You look at the way things are. How many times did we say, look, I give you all the permission you need to throw me under the bus if you need to. If it helps, throw me under the bus. And that's why I have tire tracks going up my back now, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to point that out. I wanted to say that out loud.
I wondered why you was bringing that up.
I was close to being offended.
Well, you really set yourself up well.
But the reason I was talking about people looking to be offended, I was having a conversation earlier today. I don't know if I finished it, but I was talking to this guy today, and we were talking about this season we're in and going into, and I gave him a warning, and he gave me back the same warning. Be careful that we're not looking to be offended so that we can betray someone in order to get out from under a load of responsibility. I'm saying if you look at even like with Elon, that was a load of responsibility that I'm not sure, even by his own admission, he was calculating for all of the variables that could take place by him aligning himself with Donald Trump. I mean, I don't know that he calculated all of the variables.
I'm sure not. Of
what that was going to cost him. Could it be that he was looking to be offended so that he could get out from under a load of responsibility that he had obligated?
Well,
I don't know that that's
true. And him
true.
trying to start another party is proof he's offended.
He's definitely offended.
He's been offended by the party that he now wants to tear apart.
Definitely offended.
There's no doubt that there's a huge offense operating in him right now, and his only hope is to lay that offense down.
Yeah.
And usually when you're offended with somebody, it's not that they didn't truly offend you, and it might even be a false accusation of offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's true. I mean,
That's right.
It can still be false. But the problem is the end result of offense is worse than the offended spirit. In other words, it's bad if I'm not driving well, but when I hit that tree, the end result of my bad driving is much worse than my bad driving.
Than your bad driving. That's exactly right.
That's the same way this is.
That's right.
Because it's like I'm saying, hey, Trump, Elon, better hit the floorboard. We're going to have a bad week.
We're fixing to have a bad week, Bobby.
Had a bad
right.
week, Bobby.
Yep.
And these two guys, and I pray for them, and I wish all of our listeners were.
Yeah, absolutely.
These two guys need to straighten up. I don't
big time
know if any of them's mama's still alive, but if it is, she needs to get the belt out.
Well, and speaking of mamas, in the parallel verse in Luke 21, where it talks about betrayal, it gives references to family members. It gives references to close friends.
Mm-hmm.
It gives references to kinsfolk.
And then I think it goes on to say something about the love starts getting
Yes, absolutely.
from these relationships.
Exactly. So, and then Paul comes along in the last days, they'll be without natural affection, which is, that's what that is.
That's what
it's
that
the
is.
lack of the family unit. It's the lack of family love. So, I don't know. I'm concerned by what we're seeing with Trump and Elon, with what we're seeing from even the Tucker Carlsons to the Trump and the Glenn
come on,
Becks
Jeff.
to the
I mean,
Trump. And I'm concerned over that. I'm concerned over that.
All of Trump's mouthpieces, if you will, the major ones, are now all suspicious of Trump.
Right.
Now, you can say they haven't went with Elon.
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying we're pro-Elon.
Yeah.
But they're saying there's a big cover-up here. There's all of these things are going on. And let me say something, Jeff. If Trump's our president, and he is, and Kash Patel, Bondi, if they feel like it's of the best interest of our country that they have to cover up some stuff, and I want to tell you something, I'm all for it.
I am too.
Because I trust their better judgment.
I am too.
Now let me ask you something, Jeff. What good would it do to show the dirt on somebody? I mean, they say everybody's demanding transparency. Okay, transparent up. Now, okay, you're transparent.
Yeah, then what?
Then what?
Yeah.
I mean, then okay, wow, you got it. Well, Pete, then what?
Yeah. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's right.
So I don't know what the goal. I think what people say. Here's what I think people saying. People and people have different people in their minds of who's guilty of what.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's in the heart of man. They want to string everybody up.
Yeah.
That's guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's what's happening in the church today too.
Mm-hmm.
You hear what I'm saying?
It's the same
Everybody,
thing.
they're guilty. Okay, now here I am, guilty or not guilty. Do I believe that messing with children? You don't need to be strung up. You need to be strung up.
Yeah.
There's that.
And
that
Epstein was strung up.
and that one's too far.
Yeah.
And actually, he ended up strung up. Didn't he?
He was strung up.
Okay, so we got one.
We got
strung
strung up.
got one strung up
Yeah.
there. But my point being is those that's demanding for transparency to not get that transparency that they're demanding, they're making the ones that are looking after it equally guilty of the same crimes as Epstein.
Yeah.
I mean, psychologically, that's the game.
That's right.
Okay, so therefore, I can't trust you now. Now, I've noticed Megyn Kelly and the likes of all of those. They come right. They'll say, "I'm for Trump," and then all of a sudden throw him under the bus in the rest of your conversation. They're trying to leave a little door.
Yeah.
If this thing comes back and bites on them, in my book, you need to decide who you're going to stand with. Now,
And stand.
And this is what we get into journalism, trying to represent people and truth. You can't have a journalist. If you think you got a journalist on your side, if they are today, if they get a better story, they won't be tomorrow.
That's right. They will Roy's report right up.
They'll do anything.
And Ken and Barbie.
And they'll Ken and Barbie and Roy and okay.
Yeah. And
so just to get another story, and as it's been said, to get more clickbait. It's just clickbait.
Yeah.
It's just click.
Yeah.
Because that's where they're. So one thing I can tell you is that type of mentality is you're selling your soul out to the devil, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
When you want to, you don't have any loyalty. And what I mean by loyalty, I'm not asking somebody to lie, but I am asking you not to swing something in a direction that makes somebody look like they're guilty. I don't have to go too far to say I trust Bongino.
Yeah.
I trust Trump, Patel,
Pam Bondi.
Pam Bondi. I don't have any problem saying, okay.
I don't either.
Don't
I don't have any
understand
problem with
it.
that.
Don't know why they're saying what they're saying. And do I think they needed a little help on their rollout narrative?
Without a doubt.
Could that we used a little bit of touch up? Yeah. This is just me, Jeff. I wouldn't doubt what this looks like to me is Trump said, hey, y'all come in the office. They went in the office and Trump said, listen, that's enough.
Yeah.
I've heard so much of Epstein, I'm going to throw up.
That's right.
That's enough.
Yeah.
We're going to quit it. Now, here's why we're going to quit it. Could be a lot of different reasons. But one is, Jeff, if you've got dignitaries of other countries out here.
Yeah.
And they've got a bomb. He's got a bomb. Who's got one? Now, if you do have some information, because, if you go with the extreme narrative, he was a CIA op.
Yeah.
That he was trying to set everybody up and all these things. How much he was or wasn't, who knows? I wasn't there. I don't know. But if you go to an extreme, that's what they claim that he was used for. It's easy to give him that title, but yet nobody knows a particular mission. But nonetheless, that is the extreme of who Epstein was. Here was my point that I forgot a minute ago. To use an Epstein, I am not, the kid thing and all is the huge shocker that holds the world in the narrative.
Yeah.
If the kids weren't involved, it'd be hard to hold the narrative. So if you'll notice in the last 5 years, if you want to captivate the world to not leave the narrative, you always got to throw in a kid arm. Yeah. What I mean by that is, now part of this, whether it be Israel, whether it be Hollywood, I don't care what you go, anywhere you want to go, but yet they're into child pornography or they're into the child thing. Now, I'm not making light of it.
Right.
But I have noticed in these podcasters and everybody, if you want to keep it flowing, you got to have that element in it.
Yeah.
And I just don't believe all of it.
I don't either. I don't either.
I'm not for any of it.
Me neither.
But I don't believe all of it.
I don't either. I don't either. And again, when I see stuff like what we're seeing happening with the narratives and Trump and all of that, when I see that, I know that it's coming to the church or from the church. And I'm going to just throw this out there. I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to just throw this out there for you to chew on. All right? As the church goes, so goes the nation. Had there have not been a Roy's report, had there have not been all of this, we're going to purge the body, we might not have had this Elon Trump split up. Now
that's a thought.
I'm just saying. Now, people can say, well, you're just being ridiculous. One don't have anything to do with the other. Yes, it does. And if you're saying, well, you're over spiritualizing, no, I'm not.
No,
I mean, seriously, I'm saying that the church has been involved for decades in trying to hunt down our wounded and then shoot them. And that spirit of offense and betrayal is now at the highest levels of our government, and we're seeing it happen more frequently than ever. More frequently.
Well, it's just
with more demonstrative emotion attached to it now.
Well, it's trying to put it into a narrative to destroy somebody. Just let me go back to the kid thing just a minute, which none of us like that, the exploitation of children. I'm persuaded that there's much more exploitation of children between an uncle and a niece within a family unit all over the world.
Absolutely.
Then
totally agree.
I think it's a whole lot closer home.
Agree. Yes.
And it's whole. I mean,
and
I think
more widespread.
And more widespread.
Yes.
I think we got some problems. Yeah. But if you want to hang the whole world's child molestation upon Epstein,
right,
you need to look a whole lot closer home.
That's exactly right.
You don't have to
totally agree.
You don't. So it's almost like we want to put it out there somewhere to keep it out of the back door of where it's...
So it can be compartmentalized, isolated, correct, and dealt with.
Yeah, and
that's I agree.
And I'm perfect, and they're not.
That's right.
I mean, Rowland, me, you like to go middle of the road, so...
That's us. They call us Smith and Rowland balanced.
Middle of the road.
Hashtag middle of the road.
That's us.
So, I mean, you heard it first here.
You heard it first here, Smith and Rowland. All right, Rowland, I think we'll get enough email out of that.
We probably
Let's pick it back up. Let's pick it back up tomorrow. And listen, if there's anything we've said today, we'll apologize for it tomorrow.
That's exactly right.
Okay, Rowland.
See you.
Thank you for joining today's Smith and Rowland Show. You can check out our website at kingdompropheticsociety.org and our daily Unplugged podcast at smithandrowlandshow.podbean.com. You can also join us on Amazon, Apple, or Spotify.